Tonight on Hotty Toddy News, suicide attempts are on the rise and Oxford police have 10 warning signs that could save a life. Plus, Greek life organizations on campus are facing challenges trying to host gatherings during the pandemic. And if you plan on celebrating graduation next month, we have everything you need to know before you go.
From the School of Journalism and New Media on the campus of the University of Mississippi, this is Hotty Toddy News.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in. I'm Grace Marion. Suicide attempts have risen in Oxford this year and police have issued a statement with 10 signs that someone might be in trouble. Rebecca Donaldson spoke with police and has the story.
The police department's community response team in Oxford says that they've responded to 26 suicide attempts and welfare checks in April alone, which is an increase of around 15% from the month before. In 2018, it was reported by America's Health Rankings that the national average for suicide is 14.8 for every 100,000 people, but 0.4 lower in the state of Mississippi. Public Information Officer Breck Jones says one reason for this is the stress that comes with the end of the school year.
A lot of people are stressed out about finals and grades and things like that, and we just wanted to make sure to reach out and put resources out there and good contacts for people if they're feeling that.
Students on campus agree and say that they understand why people are feeling this way now more than last month.
The end of the spring semester is really stressful because I'm trying to finish up everything for graduation and get into grad school. And I've got lots of family coming at the end of the month.
Jones says OPD used to send an ambulance and do a check-in on a person showing signs of suicidal behavior. But now the community response team checks in on people and connects them with the resources they need. This includes the national and local hotline, counselors, and more. The Oxford Police Department says if you or anyone you know is showing suicidal behavior, to contact their community response team to be put in touch with the proper resources.
If you think that you have a friend or know somebody that you're worried about, I'd go ahead and reach out to them, reach out to us, reach out to somebody where somebody can go and check on them and make sure that they're okay.
OPD posted a graphic that shows 10 signs of suicidal behavior. Some of these include isolation, anxiousness, and feeling hopeless. If you recognize any of these symptoms, call Oxford's Community Response Team or the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Rebecca Donaldson, Hotty Toddy News.
If you or someone you know is struggling, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline can be reached at 1-800-273-8255. With COVID infection rates declining and state restrictions lifted, Greek life at the University of Mississippi is able to plan social events again, but it's more complicated than you might think. Lily Garner explains.
The spring semester typically means it's party season for fraternity and sorority organizations, but COVID-19 protocols raised a lot of questions about how events were going to look. The Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life, in collaboration with other organizations, developed guidelines to make sure these events can occur while remaining safe.
Panhellenic Council President Grace McKissick says a crucial part of having events by organizations is COVID testing at sites like RedMed.
I think that the main goal there is just like safety, protection to promote getting tested. We also have been promoting the university's asymptomatic testing all year, all semester.
Students within organizations who want to attend social events are required to fill out a guest list indicating who they are bringing. FSL then randomly selects 25% of people to test. However, this means that some people who attend events may not ever get tested. Alpha Omicron Pi member Caroline Chrysler experienced this firsthand.
Personally, I've been to 2 or 3 date parties this semester since we've been able to. I haven't had to get tested, and none of my close friends have either. We have a group chat where we all talk about it, and nobody's had to yet, so I don't really know who's gotten tested. If there's been any positive cases, we haven't heard. And so I just think it's kind of interesting that we have to get tested.
Although the university requires testing, Greek organizations are not required to report the results. Due to HIPAA rules and health regulations, even if the results are reported, they may not include student names. So there's no way of knowing who could be a carrier of COVID.
We are not allowed to do anything with that information in terms of like publicizing or anything like that. And so usually what that looks like is a conversation being had, contact tracing can be had, that sort of thing.
For now, if Greek organizations want to hold events, they will have to continue testing even though the results are not always reported. Lily Garner, Hotty Toddy News.
Greek life social events aren't the only thing that's hard to plan these days. University leaders are finalizing plans for graduation next month. However, with 2 classes graduating this spring, they certainly have their work cut out for them. Matthew Henley has everything you need to know if you plan on attending.
As we near the end of the year, many upcoming graduates and recent 2020 graduates are still confused on what to expect with this year's commencement exercises. The University of Mississippi will hold both 2020 and 2021 graduation ceremonies this year back-to-back. Rebecca Phillips, Director of Events for the university, says this year's planning has been difficult due to the pandemic, but worth it.
There's a lot of moving parts. And then, of course, if you're timesing it times 2, it's just that many trying to make sure that everything's taken care of, but also doing it in a safe way.
The 2020 commencement exercises for each school will be held April 29th through May 2nd, with the morning convocation on May 1st at 8 a.m. The 2020 commencements will take place a few days later from May 6th to 8th, with the morning convocation on May 8th. Both morning convocations will be located in Walt Hemingway Stadium instead of the Grove this year due to COVID-19 protocols. Individual ceremonies will either take place at the Pavilion or Tad Smith Coliseum, depending on each school. The morning convocation held behind me at Walt Hemingway Stadium will not be a ticketed event, but the number of allocated tickets for each school ceremony was determined based on a few reasons, including public health guidance, proper social distancing, and the number of graduates in each school. Additional tickets for graduates will not be given out this year. For the convocation at the Vault, students and their guests will enter through the east side of the stadium, gates 1 through 18. The university, in order to safely offer convocation, will utilize the Jumbotron with the stage on the 50-yard line. In ways to deal with traffic and parking, Phillips says they are hoping that spreading out graduation days will reduce traffic on campus.
And we're hoping that this allows for our graduates and their families to have a better experience on campus. Before, we've had a lot of traffic congestion because there's just so many people on our infrastructure. So we're looking forward to spreading them out.
On top of traffic, Phillips says that parking shouldn't be an issue.
Different parking lots and different entrances and exits to campus, and try to promote that you're parking near your venue, or if you are coming from morning convocation, you're parking where you're going to end up. So if you have a ceremony in the TAD pad right after that, you'll park at the TAD pad, and then we can either walk over to the stadium, or we can we'll have golf cart shuttles for anyone who needs.
All commencement ceremonies, including morning convocation for both 2020 and 2021 grads, will be live streamed. More information about how to view the ceremonies will be shared in a few weeks. For Hotty Toddy News, I'm Madeline Nolan.
In his year and a half as Ole Miss athletic director, Keith Carter has given fans plenty to cheer about. Justin Class sat down with Carter to talk about his time and future with the athletic department.
Keith Carter became the official Ole Miss athletic director in November of 2019 after serving as the interim since late May. Less than a month after taking the position, Carter faced a make-or-break decision for ADs nationwide, hiring a new football coach.
So we needed somebody who could come in right away and galvanize the fan base and make us relevant right away.
After just a year, the Kiffin hire is a highlight on Carter's resume, but Ole Miss sports have seen improvement beyond the football field in his short tenure, like Coach Yo's basketball team.
Her energy is just tangible and contagious, which is awesome. And so I think women's basketball is here to stay and do some really good things.
For now, it seems that the coaching searches are on hold, but that doesn't mean Carter doesn't have plenty of planning for the future of athletics ahead of him.
The next project is going to be about a $25 million renovation to the Manning Center.
That renovation will include a new weight room and locker room, followed by renovations to the softball and soccer complexes. Worries about facility updates is a nice change of pace for Ole Miss fans after the turmoil of recent years. So they're left asking themselves how long Carter will stick around.
44 right now, and I'd love to do it for a while, as long as I have the energy to do it and do it at a high level.
It's been quite the start to an administrative career for Carter, whose connections to Rebel sports date back to his playing days on the basketball court. Fans are left to hope that those deep ties will be enough for Carter to break from the mold and spend his whole career in Oxford. Reporting for Hotty Toddy News, I'm Justin Class.
Looking ahead, there are several upcoming events around the Oxford community. First, this Saturday, April 17th, the Three Rivers Solid Waste Management Authority is hosting a household hazardous waste collection day at Lafayette County Multipurpose Arena from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Some acceptable items include all-purpose cleaners, disinfectants, and old appliances. For more information, call 662-489-2415. Next Tuesday, April 20th, Oxford Community Market will return to spring hours, which run from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Old Armory Pavilion. New vendors and their produce will be available, including an Oxford favorite, strawberries. On April 29th, Oxford Police Department will host their second Light Up the Night event of the year. Officers will clean headlights within 10 minutes from start to finish. Oxford Police said that the first event on March 6th was a huge success. More information is available on the OPD Facebook page. That's all we have for tonight. Tune in next week for Hotty Toddy News. I'm Grace Marion. Thank you for watching.